We want to know if the great trouble and suffering we see in the world and the suffering we personally experience will result in the extinction of the human race. For this reason, many of those who study prophecy are highly motivated. Jesus' followers anticipate his return and believe the time of his return can be known. Maybe. Stay tuned. How is all this going to end? That's our question. We come to the Bible seeking help and comfort, and sometimes we have burning questions that we want answered. We want to know if the great trouble and suffering we see in the world and the suffering we personally experience will result in the extinction of the human race. For this reason, many of those who study prophecy are highly motivated, as I just said. On the other hand, other people treat prophecy as a puzzle to be solved. With regard to picture puzzles, how does one know if he has the right answer? He or she compares the completed puzzle with the picture on the box, and if they match, the puzzle is solved. Technically, since the pieces interlock with each other in unique ways, there really can only be one solution. Thus, Bible students attempt to assemble various prophetic passages together in order to form a complete picture, attempting to find pieces where the passages seem to interlock. Maybe two passages of Scripture have a logical connection, or they fit together in a timeline. But no matter what connections we might find, we have the disadvantage of not having the picture on the box. And after all, we aren't sure whether two different passages actually interlock, or whether we are forcing them together. Creating logic maps and timelines in an effort to discover the meaning is a good start. But even if such methods and stratagem produce satisfactory results, the Bible student looking for the correct interpretation of a prophetic message is often left with a lack of confidence, decisions are tentative, and interpretations are uncertain. Puzzle creators understand that solving puzzles can be gratifying under two important conditions. First, the puzzle can have but one unique solution. And second, validation of the solution must be self-evident, or the answer must be published in the back of the book. Speaking for myself, once I have checked my solution against the published answer and found them to match, I'm left with a gratifying sense of accomplishment. But unlike solutions that can be found at the back of the book, Bible prophecy doesn't give the reader that kind of assurance. The Bible doesn't come with an answer key in the back. The Bible student, looking for the correct interpretation of a prophetic message, is often left with a lack of confidence, tentative and uncertain. The task can be daunting, and the temptation is to give up. Let's not forget the words of John, who wrote the book of Revelation, where he said, "Blessed is he who reads, and those who hear the words of the prophecy, and heed the things which are written in it, for the time is near." If John believed his writings were incomprehensible, impenetrable, or even inscrutable, he wouldn't suggest that one is blessed to read it. Prophecy is much more than predicting future events. The prophet also proclaims God's words, giving an official declaration of his promises and his will for mankind. Even if we can't figure out what all the symbols mean, the overall message of Revelation is clear and filled with hope. Jesus returns, he rewards his followers, and everything will be set right. That much is clear. With regard to the interpretation of prophetic utterances, remember the words of Isaiah, who said, "The entire vision will be to you like the words of a sealed book, which when they give it to the one who is literate, saying, 'Please read this,' he will say, 'I cannot, for it is sealed.' Then the book will be given to the one who is illiterate, saying, 'Please read this,' and he will say, 'I cannot read.'" The vision isn't impossible to understand or comprehend for those who can read, but those who can read must wait until the book is unsealed. And what does it take to unseal a prophetic book? Two conditions must exist before a prophetic book is considered unsealed. To answer this question, let's review a passage from Daniel chapter 12. "Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, 2 others were standing, one on this bank of the river and the other on that bank of the river. And one said to the man dressed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, "How long will it be until the end of these wonders?" I heard the man dressed in linen who was above the waters of the river, as he raised his right hand and his left toward heaven, and swore by him who lives forever that it would be for a time, times, and half a time. And as soon as they finish shattering the power of the holy people, all these events will be completed. As for me, I heard but could not understand. So I said, "My Lord, what will be the outcome of these events?" And he said, "Go your way, Daniel, for these words are concealed and sealed up until the end time. Many will be purged, purified, and refined. But the wicked will act wickedly, and none of the wicked will understand. But those who have insight will understand." As we mentioned in another video, prophecy is not given to skeptics so that they might be convinced to change their minds. Rather, prophecy is given to those who already have come to trust God and His Son Jesus, so that they might have hope during these times when suffering and trouble seem to suggest that God is losing the battle and that all hope is lost. In my view, a book of prophecy is unsealed while the predicted events are taking place or just after they just happened. Why? Because the events themselves are the answer key to the prophecy. The very events themselves are the key that unlocks the prophetic book. God doesn't give us predictions of the future so that we might know years in advance what will take place. Rather, He gives us predictions of the future so that during the time when the events are taking place, we understand what it all means and why it had to happen. The angel tells Daniel that the words are sealed up until the end. Only at the end, when the events are taking place, can the prophecy be understood in all its fullness. Prophecies are meant to be understood in retrospect. They bear witness that God alone is God, and He alone is the one true God, unlike any other. The fulfillment of prophetic predictions isn't meant to show that God can predict the future. Rather, they prove that God controls the future. Being able to predict the future doesn't make one a god, but being able to orchestrate historical events such that the future happens the way He intends does prove He is God. Only the true God can give history a purpose and a meaning beyond mere causality. History isn't simply the net result of a probable outcome. History is a teleological narrative designed to declare the awesome power and glory of God. Prophecy speaks like this: "Here's what I'm going to do. I'm telling you this in advance so that when it happens, you will know that I am God. And when you come to realize this, you will turn your heart to me and believe my word and trust my promise." I said there were 2 keys that unlock prophecy. The first key is the events themselves. The second key is the eyes to see it. Isaiah said that some would not understand the vision because they didn't know how to read. In my view, this is intended to symbolize those who make a moral decision not to understand it. They refuse to accept the truth of it and surrender to a self-inflicted privation of the mind. Remember, the reason why Daniel couldn't understand was because the book was sealed. But the angel tells Daniel that at that time there will be people with great insight who will be able to explain it to them. But even with the help of wise people, the wicked will still not understand. Wicked people refuse to understand, and even if they do understand, they suppress what they know to be true and act as if it's false. Bear this in mind as you study the prophetic works. If you seek comfort in knowing exactly how the future will take place, then you will be disappointed because, as we saw, these prophecies are sealed until they take place. The skeptics will find no comfort in hope or promises, but the faithful place their trust in the Creator and take hope from their faith in His power, His glory, His truth, and His love. The best I can do is find my courage and persevere under trial. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful to your own studies. If you did, please click like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.